Hello, everyone. Welcome to a special Thursday edition here of Sports Extra. I'm Lance Fieser alongside Amy Gill. Alec Osmus out on assignment, so we're going to let him take this week off of Sports Extra. We got a lot of things to get to, and we're getting to it on Thursday because you might have heard Brewers playing on Friday. We'll have something special. We'll tell you about that coming up tomorrow on Facebook Live. But for now, let's talk a little football, shall we? We got a couple of big games coming up. Michigan is hosting Wisconsin. Ooh. Big matchup for the Badgers. And then, of course, a Monday night showdown for the Green Bay Packers at home against the San Francisco 49ers. So let's start with that Badger game because it is going to be on ABC, and Amy is going to be there in person. And, Amy, when you look at this matchup here, 12th ranked Michigan, it's going to be a tough game. What are you really looking for here?
A top 15 matchup. Awesome for us this season. Okay, well, Wisconsin's defense, they are amazing under head coach Paul Chryst, so that's kind of what we're looking at. They are 15-1 when they go on the road. The team is under head coach Paul Chryst, and the opposing team averages just over 14 points per game when the Badgers travel. That ranks first all-time among FBS squads. But the defense, they are hampered this week. 6 defenders on the injury report, 3 of them starters. The secondary takes a big hit, 3 cornerbacks on that report. Safety Scott Nelson, he is going to miss the first half as well after being bounced last week, being called for a targeting penalty. And they're going to have their hands full against quarterback Shea Patterson. Under him, the Wolverines have the second most efficient passing offense in the conference. They rank 3rd in the Big Ten in scoring offense, averaging 38.2 points per game. And saw earlier today that Isaiah Lattimore is officially going to be out of the game. So it's going to be a big hit.
Yeah, their defense hasn't been great to begin with the Wisconsin. Yeah. They've been good, just maybe not that elite level that we've seen the last couple of years. I mean, just dangerously thin at a couple of spots. And the reason when I look at the numbers here that this is kind of concerning is because of what Michigan's defense is. Points are going to be hard to come by in this one. I still think the Wisconsin defense will play fairly well here. The question is, how good will the Wisconsin offense look against this Michigan defense that you see? They are 6th against the run, and I think this is going to be the key for the Wisconsin Badgers. They're going to have to run the football. It's strength on strength here. You have the 4th best rushing attack in the nation. Jonathan Taylor, the #1 individual rusher in the nation. But Michigan, they're #1 in total defense in the country and #1 in passing defense in the country. They give up just 134 yards per game. So the only chance I think the Badgers have here is to control the tempo by grinding away, get some first downs, keep the offense on the field, keep Michigan's offense off the field. It's a pattern for success for years here at Wisconsin, which is run the football to find success. I think they were able to do that. You look at that Nebraska game when you had, 3 guys, Garrett Groshek, Tywan Deal, contributing in addition to Jonathan Taylor. You're going to need to see more of that. I don't think Alex Hornibrook's going to be able to win this game. Now, he's going to have to play pretty well, and he has won his last 10 road games, and he's been good on the road, 68% completion percentage, 18 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. So he's been good. He's going to need to be good again. But against the #1 pass defense in the nation, it's expecting too much if you think they're going to throw the football all over the place. So this is where that offensive line is really going to need to earn their money, win that battle in the trenches. That's going to be the key for the Badgers to pull off an upset, and it is going to be an upset here. We'll get to those numbers in a second, but Badgers kind of fairly big underdogs here in this top 15 matchup, as you mentioned. All right, before we get to our predictions here, let's talk quickly about the Green Bay Packers. They're going to play at home. It was not pretty Sunday in Detroit.
No, not so much.
What do we need to see for it to be pretty on Monday night for the Green Bay Packers?
Well, a big thing that's actually working in their favor, which is, the biggest thing when it comes to the 49ers, is their quarterback and the fact that Jimmy Garoppolo, he is out for the season with a torn ACL. So they have not won a game without him yet since he tore that ACL back against the Chiefs. They dropped that game as well, 1-4 on the entire season. So guess who their quarterback is now? Do you know?
C.J. Beathard.
Yes. Is it Beathard or I thought it was Beathard. I thought it was Beathard. Okay, but we'll go with Beathard since you say so. So he is now their starting quarterback. He has been chucking the ball, though, kind of surprisingly. 647 yards passing over just 2 games, 4 touchdowns, but he also has 4 interceptions. So he likes to throw it up, and whoever comes up with it. The Packers' pass defense, they rank 4th in the NFL, giving up just 1,044 yards in 5 games. So they could be a defense that is able to pick them off a few times as well.
Yeah, the Packers' defense, they've had their moments, I guess, where they've been pretty good, especially recently. So we'll see. This could be a real get-right game for the Green Bay Packers. The #1 way they're going to get right, though, how about you actually play in the first quarter? That would be a bit of a difference here. The Green Bay Packers have been abysmal. It's hard to pinpoint one reason or another that this has happened, other than to say that they've been awful really in all phases in the first quarter. Look at this. Outscored 42-3 in the first quarter. They have had 0 first quarter points 3 times. They have trailed in 3 games. It was Chicago. They were down 20-0. Washington down 21-3. The Lions, they were down 24-0. You might notice a trend there. They did come back to beat the Bears there in that season opener, but after that, those are their 2 losses. It's been pretty crystal clear here. The Packers have been better in the second half for the most part, that Vikings game notwithstanding, but they need to actually come out, play a little bit of football in the first quarter. They haven't been scoring on the opening drive to really set the tempo. I also want to see, from a personal standpoint, and I think a lot of Packers fans want to see it as well, get Aaron Jones the football. No, last week he basically disappeared in the second half, and that was because Mike McCarthy said, look, we'd like to get him the ball. Yes, he's been efficient running the football, but we've been falling behind by so much that it's put them into passing situations. They feel more comfortable with Jamal Williams as his pass protector, and then they like Ty Montgomery on passing downs as well to catch the ball in the backfield. Aaron Jones, I think, will be key. If they can, again, not fall behind, you might see him finally rip off a real big game because he seems poised to do that. He's looked great since he's come back from his suspension early in this season. So I can't say exactly what they got to do as far as like, okay, they got to do this and that. How about like, don't kick a punt, don't give them short fields, don't fumble 3 times, things like that. Don't turn the ball over. Be efficient on offense, especially on that opening drive or 2 where you can get some points on the board and then at least not fall behind. Keep pace, if not take a lead early in the ball game, and then I think the Packers will look like a completely different football team.
Yeah, that's something that Aaron Rodgers said very much after last week's game, was that it'd be really nice if the offense would actually play a full game one of these days. So he's not happy.
All right, let's look at some of the comments here that we've got so far. All right, so don't the Packers have 3 veteran tight ends? When are they going to start contributing to their offense? I think Jimmy Graham has actually been targeted a decent amount. Now, he's had just the 1 touchdown, and I think we all thought Jimmy Graham was going to be that red zone target, that he was going to take over what Jordy Nelson's role had been in this offense, which is you get inside the 20, you get in those tough third down situations, you look to Jimmy Graham. Now, I've had people who know more about football than me tell me Jimmy Graham has been effective, and that what he has done is he has opened the door for guys like Davante Adams to not get doubled all the time, because when he runs down the middle of that field, Jimmy Graham, he draws attention. And there's been teams that have doubled up on Jimmy Graham because they're afraid of what he can do based on his past success in the NFL. This week, what's going to be interesting as far as the tight ends go is Jimmy Graham was relied upon last week. He had some catches, put up some yards, but that's because their wide receivers were all banged up. You had the rookie wide receivers out there. Geronimo Allison and Randall Cobb are both still kind of going through the injury process here. We don't have a 100% definitive answer yet on who's playing and who isn't.
Yeah, luckily,
those guys could be back.
Luckily, Allison is out of concussion protocol now. He's going to be working with the rehab group, but you hope that they're able to get him back because they definitely needed him. They've been targeting him a lot this year. So
yeah, to me, Geronimo Allison may be more key than to get Randall Cobb back. Cobb would be great, don't get me wrong, but Geronimo Allison, I feel like, has almost become that number 2 target this season for Aaron Rodgers. He's looked for Davante Adams first, but then Allison second, and Marquez Valdez-Scantling had some moments. He was okay. You have Equanimeous St. Brown. Those guys have been okay, but drops have been a problem for this Green Bay Packers team, so it would be nice to get their number 1 receiving core back in place and then see maybe if some of this changes once you get your veterans back in that lineup. And Jimmy Graham will certainly be a part of it. All right, so some other comments here. Let's see. We have people wanting to talk about the Brewers. So here's the deal. We're going to talk a lot of Brewers coming up tomorrow on this Facebook Live. This is a special Sports Extra football edition. Here's the deal. Amy and I are going to be going, and we'll talk about that. We're going to be going to the Brewers game tomorrow. We're certainly excited to talk Brewers. We want you to save your Brewers questions for tomorrow, okay?
Yeah.
We're going to have a lot of those.
We'll go ahead and save these ones. Why not?
Yeah, we'll save those. All right, if you have any questions, feel free and shoot them my way right now here on Facebook Live. In the meantime, we're going to do some prediction time. Amy, are you ready? All right, let's start with the Wisconsin Badgers. They started at 7.5-point underdogs this week. It's getting bet in a direction where it doesn't look good for them. People really think Michigan's going to win this game by potentially a lot. The line has got up to 9-point underdogs are the Badgers. What do you think? Can they cover a 9-point spread?
This is tough for me because I feel like, I know a lot of people aren't going to like to hear it, but I do think actually Michigan will end up winning this game, though I don't think it's going to be a huge blowout. So I'll actually go ahead and take Wisconsin to cover. Maybe they'll be within 7 points of them, because you said what we're going with 9.
No, they just got to be within 9 points.
Yeah, so I think it could be a 1-touchdown game. I think it could be a pretty close one all the way to the end. I think Michigan probably ends up squeaking it out, but Wisconsin covering.
I think that's a pretty safe bet. I've kind of got to go with you. Same logic. For me, this is all about low-scoring football game. These two teams were neck and neck last time they played, and I think we're going to see something similar. Look, the Badgers' defense being banged up does scare me. There's a potential that Michigan hits some big plays, and maybe they are going to find a way to win by double digits. But going into this one, I just don't necessarily see that happening. Wisconsin's defense is still good, even with these guys down. I think they're going to be able to limit what Michigan does offensively. And on the flip side, I do think that potentially Wisconsin's going to be able to run the football a little bit and have just enough balance to keep Michigan off balance to where they can at least have some sustained drives to prevent this from becoming a high-scoring game, because I don't think Wisconsin definitely doesn't want a high-scoring game. Really, neither team does, because they're both defensive-oriented. So I think because of the way that I feel the flow of this game is going to go, it's going to be low-scoring. I don't necessarily see either team winning by 10. I'm kind of with you, Amy. I wouldn't, if I had to put all my money on the line right now, I don't think straight up I would necessarily pick the Badgers to win this one. I just feel like their defense isn't quite in the spot to go on the road and win right now this game. But I also don't think that they're going to lose by 9 or 10 points. So I'm going to pick the Badgers here to at least cover that spread.
Yeah, clearly the best team that they have encountered all season long. And, obviously they lost earlier in the season to BYU. But this is, a totally different talent level, I think, that they'll end up encountering against Michigan, and probably only one other time in the regular season against Penn State. So.
Right, yeah, I think this is the second best team they're going to play. I do think Penn State's better. Iowa, I think, isn't like a huge drop-off from Michigan, and they went on the road, they beat Iowa. So, again, it's not like they can't go out and win this game. We saw at Iowa they could win a game, and, again, kind of a low-scoring game. And I think that's the model. Keep it close. Try and win it towards the end, make some plays. All right, flipping over to your Green Bay Packers. Let's talk about that 9.5-point spread right now. They are favored by 9.5 points, even after that debacle in Detroit. What do you think, Amy? Are they going to win by double digits?
I'm sorry, what was the line again?
9.5.
9.5. I think that I'll go ahead and take the Packers with this. I think that coming off that loss, they are going to bounce back in a big way. Going against the Niners team on a Monday night at home, luckily. San Francisco might not even be quite used to the cold, because obviously we've had a huge drop-off in temperatures in the last day. I think that's something that could work in the Packers' favor, something that the Niners might not be used to. And I think they're going to bounce back in a big way. It's not a great team that they're going against. So.
No, the 49ers are certainly not a great football
much
team.
Better with Jimmy G, but obviously he's out for the season. So
yeah, I think the Packers, first off, I am confident the Packers are going to win this football game. The question then becomes, in the NFL, 10 points is a lot. At home, they say that's worth 3, and then you kind of add from there. So basically what they're saying is on a neutral field, the Packers are about 7 points better than San Francisco 49ers. I think the spread's pretty accurate here. I think it's going to be close, but I'll tell you what, I'll go contrarian here, and I'll say that I think the Packers will win by less than 10 points, so I don't think they're going to quite cover that spread. Again, confident, though, they get back in the win column this week. I think they're going to be a little angry, too, after the way they played in Detroit, and we've kind of seen a seesaw season for the Green Bay Packers thus far. Time for them to swing back up here and get another win. I know we have Daniel chimed in right there. He said 49ers because Green Bay can't stop anyone.
Stop the Bills.
Yeah, they did.
I don't know if that counts for much.
Yeah, I don't think the defense has been awful. You look at last week in that Detroit game, if you look at the overall numbers of what the Detroit offense put up, it wasn't good. It was below season average. It's just you kick a punt, you give them short fields on the fumbles, they scored right away, and it looked like maybe the Packers' defense was getting torched, but that wasn't what was happening. If you watched it play by play, they were giving them short fields. So I don't think their defense is playing that bad. I think we've actually seen improvement there. So that's why I'm confident they can win this game at home, even if the offense clearly isn't clicking the way we're used to in Green Bay. All right, so that's what we thought. Feel free to chime in, too. If you're just watching this, you're not seeing it live, feel free to comment here on the Facebook post that we put up here later on Facebook. So,
shout out to the person picking the Cubs, by the way.
Yeah, somebody said they're picking the Cubs. Laugh out loud. Yes,
LOL.
The Cubbies are done. All right, let's show you some of the things we're going to be up to this week. And we mentioned Wisconsin, Michigan is going to be Saturday night, 6:30, and that is going to be on WKOW. Kick time, 6:37, but tune in at 6:30 or so for the pregame coverage. Speaking of coverage of that game, our own Amy Gill is going to be in Ann Arbor. First trip to the big house, right, Amy?
That is my first trip there ever, so I'm very excited.
She's very pumped.
And my parents are both from Michigan, so my mom My mom's a Michigan State person, though, so we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, I got some of those in my family, too. Everybody's got something like that.
Been there, but never to Ann Arbor.
Yep, and then finally, if we look ahead to what's coming tomorrow, we mentioned we're going to be back on Facebook Live tomorrow. It's going to be a mystery time. We're not going to tell you when. Just be ready all day. Just stare at our Facebook page. Wait for us to go live on Facebook. Tomorrow afternoon, Amy and I will be live from Miller Park as we get you ready for Game 1 of the NLCS. Yes. And Amy's going to have to make a prediction, I think. We're going to do prediction, too. You got to predict who's going to win that series and how many games and how it's going to go. And I'm really excited about that one as well. I'm not going to give any teasers away.
Okay, I won't say.
Don't give any teasers
I'll give it away tomorrow. A reason why I might be a little biased in this one.
Tomorrow on Facebook Live.
We can give them a hint, though. We will definitely have the Facebook Live before the game starts. So
yes, it'll be between noon and 7. How about that? Probably before 5 o'clock as well, because we will be live at 5 and 6 o'clock tomorrow from Miller Park if you want to check us out on WKOW as well. All right, well, thank you so much, everybody, for watching. Thanks for watching this football edition of Sports Extra. We'll see you back on Facebook Live tomorrow for some more from Miller Park. For now, ta-ta for now, everybody.